Well, that's your preseason, folks. The Chiefs, well, they tried mostly against this Bears team. Hey, Ryan Poles, congratulations. You got one. I don't think the regular season result's going to be the same. So cheers to you. Got my draft hat on, so just wanted to shout him out. Welcome in, folks. We are post-game, well, almost post-game live as Andy's walking off the field with Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. Welcome back. It's RGR Football, and your preseason is officially over. It is now decision-making time. Welcome in. Let's get after it. A little bit different. I'm not going to go through my game notes because there's not a whole lot of pretty on there except for a couple of guys that we both know and love. We're going to get to them in just a second. But if you have a question, you want a super chat, I'll give you an answer to super chat no matter what you do. Even if you want to call me out for my beliefs, go ahead. We're going to get into those tonight, and we're going to go through the basics of it. And Alex pretty much has it far and away. There's no doubt, right? It's short yardage, it's goal line. Hell, Carson Steele's the number 2 back on this team as far as I'm concerned. Am I just still being stubborn?
No, there's no reason. No offense to Clyde, but he hasn't been playing. He's got nothing. There's nothing he can do. Carson Steel has taken every advantage that's been given to him, every opportunity, and he said, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and take it. That's what you have to do. And, that's all you really need, especially for a running back room that is devoid of talent. Generic Prince, not it. Not going to make this roster. Shouldn't make this roster, to be very honest with you. And the Chiefs are probably going to be looking to add a running back. I don't think Clyde's going to start the season. I don't think he's going to be ready to go mentally. And you have to be mentally locked into play. So you're probably going to see a veteran added at some point soon. But, yeah, I think Carson Steel making the roster is just a fantastic way to go about this. A 7th-round pick and Isaiah Pacheco backed up by an undrafted free agent. That's what happens in Kansas City, baby.
I'll take it. Somebody put out thunder, and I'll take it. Like the rumbling, bumbling. I'm here for this kind of thing. I'm pretty excited about it. I got to tell you, because especially for the first couple of weeks, when you're talking about playing the Ravens and you're talking about playing the Bengals, and you want to go crush on somebody, and you want to make a point early. Like with Hollywood out, yes, you can adapt and your pass game will still be there. But now you have a 1-2 punch that you can ram it down their throats and actually put a physical hurting on them. And that's what I'm here for. So all you Bengal fans, piss off. I don't want to hear you. I don't want you in here. Just go away. I am not too worried about it. So a couple other questions are going to come in here. But I do believe whether they give him the backup role or not, he's definitely on the roster. I don't think there's any way that LRZ gets it, although there's a couple people out here that are asking about him. We're going to get to that as well. Dennis, I'm going to start with you. Thank you for the super chat and the support, buddy. And, being a bit negative is being honest. There's a lot of iffy ball out there tonight, and that's what happens when none of your starters there to be anchor points. Personally, I'll take it on the chin. My guy Cam Jones did not improve. Unfortunately, I think his best game was game 1 of this preseason. So a little bit iffy there. Kelvin Joseph did not impress me tonight. Clearly now playing ahead of Keith Taylor, who played earlier. But I don't know. I didn't see a lot of plays from CRW, but as far as I'm concerned, dude, like if they're keeping 5 corners, it's the Fab 4 and CRW. I don't think Kelvin Joseph outplayed him.
No, but I actually think Kelvin didn't play all that bad today. Outside of the penalty, I thought he was in good position. He had a couple of good, heads up plays. I think that he was fine. I think that's the thing. He wasn't like great. Right. He was fine. And that's what you really can't have. And also we have CRW kind of listed as the safety player, right? He's going to be like, I don't really know what they're going to list him as, but I still think he's going to make this roster. And at the end of the day, that was not a pass interference, by the way. It was funny when they're watching this back, and Trent Green's like, hey, he's not turning for the football. He's literally looking over his sholdder as he's
exactly
the guy's chest. I'm like, okay, Trent, come on, what are you doing here?
Come on, buddy.
But I'm concerned about the cornerback room. I'm concerned. Very concerned, actually. And it's not so much because I don't think that there's talent there to get the job done. It's that we've seen regression, obviously injury from both Jalen Watson and Najee Johnson, who got nicked up again last week. Again, he limped off the field in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I see your point. I can't say that Jalen is regression though, because this is the first serious action he's had.
No,
He's
just from
rusty as
injury.
hell,
Yeah,
that's why they
he's
put him
trying to
out there
come
so
back.
much.
That's all it was. It wasn't
Yeah.
so much because of the talent; it's the injury stuff. Like that's not his fault. That's why I kind of said it the way that I said it, because I don't think it's based off his talent. It's because of the injury. And early in the season, it's not looking good for the Chiefs in their 1 and 2 cornerback room. So they're going to have to rely on Trent McDuffie being out there on the outside the entire time because they don't have anybody you can trust out there. So what does that mean?
Yeah. We have what? 1, 2, 3. We have 5 days to find out, buddy. I think a couple of trades happened today, player for player with the Seahawks and somebody. I think it's starting to loosen up, and I think Brett Veach is busy. When they announce, and we're going to get to Creed Humphrey tonight, folks, because I know it's a lot of damn money, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm perfectly fine. I want to Creed on the roster, and that's really all that matters to me. But Brett Veach comes out and says, yeah, we're going to get around to signing it as soon as we can, right? Like, while everyone...
Did we lose Ryan, guys? Because I can't hear him. I don't know if you
sometimes
can.
I just go away.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes I get on a
Found
roll
him.
and the
Found him.
interweb can't handle it. Okay. Sorry. I'm sure that they're working some deals here. So, hey, am I back? Let me know there, guys, because, I think they're working some deals, and I think we could see some action. So, freeze frame, Austin. I appreciate you. Yeah, we're going to see what happens. Okay, Dennis, thank you very much. We appreciate the super chat and for you being with us as
Appreciate
you always are. It's always a good time. So, this is a good point. I didn't see much push, and Nick is backing up Caroline's question here. I wish I saw Felix do more tonight. That's what one of the things I was watching for, and I didn't get a warm fuzzy. Did you?
It's funny you talked about Cam Jones going backwards. Felix did the exact same thing. Since week 1, he's gotten progressively worse, and it's tough. You want to see that development because he's put the work in, right? He's been working with Holly. He's been trying to get better. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it was all raw talent from him being an uber athlete, winning at Kansas State, and now you have kind of a timeline to where at least the Chiefs probably have a good idea when Omenahu's coming back. That's your time frame. Is at this point coming. He's going to get pulled aside and say, "We have this date here for when Omenahu comes back." And Spags is going to look him in the face and say, "You got to show something by then. You don't show something by then, guess what? They're probably going to be drafting a defensive end again to pair with him because you can't trust that he's going to be in the rotation enough to be able to get something done." So you guys know I'm an avid FAU defender in terms of he got better from last year to this year. And even in the first preseason game, I thought he was showing a lot more flashes, but he has gotten progressively worse. It's not what you want to see. Yes, it's the preseason. No, it doesn't matter nearly as much as it's going to in the regular season. But at the end of the day, these are the opportunities for younger players to showcase that you're learning, that you're getting better, not going the opposite way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm just hopeful, and sorry for the freeze frame there, folks. I'm hoping something can turn that around once the pressure isn't on him. Because Omenahu's free agent after this year, right? Mike Dan is another free agent after another year, right? So we got some issues here, folks. Yeah, the depth is not there. But at the same time, he's still progressing, and it could turn around. And I'm not going to hold that out. I'm not going to hold that again. Brandon Zamet thoughts. He's better now than he was 3 weeks ago. He's better now than when he walked into camp. Is he ready to be on the roster? I don't think so. I don't think you can give a spot to him on this roster at this point. And Xavier, that actually means, yes, he will be cut, but he'll be brought right back. I don't know that anybody's coming looking for him on the waiver wire. They will designate him as the international player unless they do it with Chew. One way or the other, 2 international players will take up 1 roster spot on the practice squad is my thought. Do you see anything else?
No, I don't think so. It makes a lot of sense for him to be on the practice squad. He was never, I know it was exciting. He was never making the roster 1 year removed from playing rugby. Like, come on. It wasn't going to happen. It was a great thought to have, but it was never going to happen. And really quickly, info is right. Dana did sign a 3-year deal, so he'll be back. But again, that's capped player, right? Like we know what he is. You know what you're going to get. You're not getting the upside that was there, and I mean, still is there for FAU if he can get to that point, because the upside of the pass rush department is very, very high. Not necessarily as high with Dana, but he's good, very good player.
Yeah. XXL, Mr. AG, I got you. It's going to be out there. It's going to get popular. I'm telling you. Did Book beat out Oludekun? No, not in any way, shape, or form.
No.
He could throw him 3 more picks. It wouldn't matter. Book is a deer in headlights, man. There might not be anything happier about that dude than his feet. So as much as the team seems to like him, Pat seems to like him, and good for him. Keep rolling, keep trying to work. But no, he's not destined to be anything of impact. Brian, yes, we got that one. Wanye's injury. That's an interesting one. I didn't see any update. Did you, Dan?
We haven't heard anything at all. My concern is that it's a knee injury. And
mine too.
As we all know, with knee injuries and offensive linemen, those pretty much derail you the entire season. They don't get better. You have to rest until you can be sure your 320 plus pound frame can take the movement of an injured knee. So I tweeted it out. You have to have a backup tackle on speed dial right now. You need to have somebody who's been in the room on speed dial. Go get him, bring him in. He should be in the room tomorrow, period, end of story.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they find out what's up with one, if it's just precautionary and they're like, oh, he's fine. Okay, then fine. Whatever.
Even
give
if
it another
it
week, but keep that number hot.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I wouldn't complain, because that is troublesome. And unfortunately for Wanya, that's going to slow down his progress, which I think he was apt to make this year, even if he didn't beat out Zumatia, which
agreed,
was a competition for a bit. So, Brandon, we will. I am having Matt Derrick is going to join us live on Locked On Chiefs later, so he will be talking to Andy, and we'll give you an update over there from the horse's mouth. Daz, nice to see you, buddy. How you doing? Do you think Trey gets done before the opener? I mean, it's possible. They got a couple of weeks, but I got to see the structure to know how much how much Creed's salary this year changed, because I think the constraint is the cap. And we might as well address it now since everybody's in here. Your reaction to the numbers was probably, was it more than mine? Because I was like, okay, I don't care.
I literally don't care. I do not care. I still see this in the eyes of, you're paying him as a guard, essentially, not because he's going to play guard, but because the guard market blew up and you got guys being paid over $20 million a year to play guard. Creed came in at 18.5 and you say, hey, he's the best center in football. Okay, fine. No big deal. Like Patrick, and I've heard the whole arguments about, well, Tyreek Hill got sent off because of his cap number. Tyreek Hill was offered a contract by the Kansas City Chiefs for market value. Yes, I understand Creed's was more, but hear me out. Tyreek said no. He said no, and I want more money. And they said, okay, fine. We have Patrick Mahomes. He's going to elevate the offense. Bye. We'll see you later. For Creed Humphrey, you say, okay, we know that the market is this. We value you this much. So we're going to offer you this contract. And you also raise the value of the guards around you, and by extension, the offensive line. And Creed was like, yeah, I want to stay here the rest of my career. Then he signed it. I don't care what the money is. He deserves every cent.
Yeah. And this is, you mentioned something that I think is even key. He's the anchor of this offensive line. And this doesn't spell the doom or the exit of Trey Smith from Kansas City. Unfortunately, it spells the exit of Joe Thuney from Kansas City, because he's the guy that will not get an extension or a re-sign. He's the guy that saves you money on the cap next year. And he's the guy who's over 30 years old. Yeah. I think they will pay Trey, and they will keep that power duo together. And they just drafted 2 guys that could come in there and play. I don't think particularly Norzad looked awesome tonight, but I thought he looked serviceable. I'd hoped he was a little more dominant against the backups, but He got caught one time on a pole and just like got tripped up by somebody. I think just the level of exciting being the guys. You're not the backups anymore, right? Like you're the dudes tonight. So I think that probably got to him a little bit. But do you disagree? Do you think that this means Trey can't come back?
I don't see. I'm interested in this whole thing because if Joe Thuney were healthy coming into this season and didn't have the injury, I would say yes. I would say Trey Smith is probably gone and they're going to keep Joe, but it throws a wrench into the whole thing because one, you don't know what's going to happen with Joe. And those injuries tend to pile up a little bit more once you get older. And also I've been watching Trey Smith this preseason. That dude is pissed off. Not because of the money stuff. Yeah. He is going to have a career football year, guys. I'm telling you right now, you liked Trey Smith before. I think he looks even better, more locked in, and less top heavy. You guys know my biggest knock on Trey Smith is that he is the most top heavy person on the offensive line. It's why he's on his ass half the time because he's too busy trying to knock dudes' helmets off. He doesn't play with control sometimes. He played with much more control, but it controlled aggression. That's what we need from Trey Smith to get to the point where he's worth paying the top market contract, which he's going to get most likely if he continues to play the way that I think he's going to this year. So, yes, I think that you can probably argue Trey Smith gets there. I think you could probably also probably sway me that Joe Thuney takes less and leaves some money on the table to stay.
Distinct possibility too. Joe's at the end of his career. He's made a ton of money. Like he was the market leader. They set the market with Joe, you know? So like it retrospectively, like he's probably fairly comfortable. And that's a good point. I didn't even consider that. Like Joe would take a cut to stay with them. Especially, good God, if they pull this off and it's a 3-peat and you're going for a quad, there ain't no way in hell he's going anywhere. He'll play for a burger, is what I'm saying. Yeah. See ya. Like, just tell me where to show up. I'm good. I'll bring the cane and everything. Here you go. Kevin, thank you. How about Powell, buddy? 2 weeks in a row in the end zone. What do you think? What's the overreaction? What happens next, Dan?
What happens next is that he's on the roster. It's too late. I've already gone in. We've gone in. He's on the roster. On you. Justin Ross who? It's Cornell Powell season, baby.
Oh, man. I tell you what. Speaking of Ross, Kevin, thank you, buddy.
But
no, it's not. But you know what? I think it's a legitimate thing now. You call Doug tomorrow and Shad Khan and say, listen, old Trev needs one of his pals back. Give me a 6 and you can have this guy. You know, like cake. Super simple. Timmy, he is a strong-bodied receiver. That's true. I will tell you this, though. I think Ross is going to make this roster if they keep 7. If they keep 6, I don't think he's it. That's my personal opinion. I would do something different. I think the Chiefs will, too. But if they keep 7, I think he's on. But he still had to get advice on where to line up tonight from a Cole frickin' Hardman who doesn't know what the hell he's doing half the time. So this is what I'm getting at. Yes, he'll make the roster if there's 7. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have good play out of anybody beyond the top 4. So you tell me, what do you think?
Yeah, you just got to hope that Marquise Brown is feeling as good as he's talking about on Twitter, because Marquise is talking about how he feels real good right now. But I don't necessarily want to entrust the situation this year to the situation we saw last year. And, you know, honestly, good for Sky basically making the roster tonight. I thought that the reason he was out there was trying to see where he's going to stand in the kick return duties, and I still think he's looked very good in the kick return duties this year, this preseason, and that's not something you could really say about him his entire career. So that's at least something that he'll be able to contribute on the roster. What?
Is it just me, or is it the fact that he doesn't have to distract himself as much with the coverage? Because they can't go till he touches it. I think it's a confidence thing. Like, he can do that better now because it's in his hand before he has to get worried.
So you're telling me a small school wide receiver that had tons of stuff leaped on him in his first 2 years needs a little bit of confidence to play better? Yeah, you're probably right about that. So, yeah, I think that there's a good chance that you see some plays from him this year, but at the end of the day, Justin Ross is still not where he needs to be mentally, then I can trust him going out there and making plays for the Kansas City Chiefs on a regular basis. Every now and then, fine. Whatever. You want to be the last guy on the roster, go and get a jump ball? I'm good with that, assuming that Andy Reid lets you.
Yeah. If they use it, I have no complaints whatsoever. Just use it. Hell, he ran a slant tonight. Congrats.
Yeah. And
do that.
And Oken just stared him down and
Sammy Watkins for 3 years.
right. Dude, Oladokin just...
I mean, with a no look from Mahomes on the slant, it's done.
I know. It was...
Hey, do
he
you know
should
where
have
I'm
had
going?
so many more picks today. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. Like, he was clearly trying to... I think he was told these players need to be showcased. And he was locked in early to Ross, and there was another receiver he threw his first pick to.
KT.
Kadarius Toney. They were trying to showcase him, like you tweeted out. They were actively trying to get players the football, and it made Chris lock into them. Very obviously, Nico Remigio near the end of the football game, all of that stuff. So it's tough to put a ton of like expectations on Chris Oladokin, who's told to go out there and do this. And that's why he didn't look very good tonight. But, you know, it is what it is.
He's still the guy who he was. I was starting to get a little nervous. Like, I didn't think I agree with you completely. And in that scenario, I wouldn't feel like you have to make a big push to like put him back in to maintain his confidence. But he did get a little rattled. So I'm glad that they did that. I think he's going to be fine. And as your scout emergency quarterback, I have no problem with him any more tonight than I did 2 days ago. He's in perfectly good shape. I do think, and I agree with you, like I think KT was getting showcased so he could do a couple of things. And I'm sure they're shopping him as well. I said from the day camp opened, he has no value. I don't know if tonight was enough to change it, but we're going to find out. If you pick one of these, Austin.
I was just going to say he was open a lot. And I know it was against second teamers and he should be, but he was open a lot. And I'm just going to say it one more time for all of you, because if he were this engaged before this preseason football, there's a good chance he would have helped the team last year instead of crying, complaining about coaches throwing him under the bus with injuries. That's all I'm going to say. Last thing I'll ever say on the topic.
Okay. I hope that I can make that come true. Austin, Ross, Hardman, or KT, in my mind, and I believe on the coach's depth chart, it is Hardman, Ross, KT. That's what I believe. You, Dan?
I don't. I believe it's Ross, Hardman, KT.
Okay. We'll find out. The only thing that'll suck is if they keep them both and then we don't really know, but we'll get playing time to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brother Rick, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for
Rick.
the support. Cheers, bud. Would it surprise you if Thor became RB2? Thor, meaning Carson Steel, folks, otherwise known as Sunshine, Crocky, Fabio. I'm going to come up with something weird for that too. But yeah, he is in my mind. Like if Isaiah Pacheco says, "Ooh, got a little hamstring twinge. Somebody get me out. Get me out, coach." I'm putting him in. I'm not waiting for Clyde, and I'm not letting Deneric Prince on the field. I'm putting Carson Steel in the game right now, tonight.
Yes, 100%. You shouldn't put anybody else in. And it's not, again, it's because of the way he runs. And Clyde has done nothing to suggest that he can do that anymore. He's a patient, not fast runner. And even though Steele is slower on paper, he's faster because he plays faster. He sees the hole, he hits hole. He will make guys miss in space, which is not something you really see from Clyde. He's more of a he's now a better contact balance than he is making guys miss. But it's tough. It's tough for him. I just think that whatever happened with Clyde coming into the NFL with this mental health stuff is really, and then on top of that with the injuries, just derailed the opportunity for what could have been, and also how the Chiefs decided to use him in some way, shape, or form. But yes, you put Carson Steel in there if he needs a breather. Like if Isaiah Pacheco needs a break, just say, "Hey, We have another really physical, tough runner who's just going to run you guys over. Go send him in there.
Right? He never going to run away from you, but he's going to run through you. And I thought Trent Creed did a good job on the broadcast. He is a north-south runner. That makes him more efficient because he doesn't have to get to the corner because he's going through you half the time. So it's a straighter line, and I think that can work as well. I'm really pumped about just the whole concept of the run coming back in the league. I've been talking about this pendulum for like 8 years, and it's finally coming around. So Minotaur, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Would you be willing to trade Carson Steel for a solid CB2? Show me a solid CB2, and I'll answer your question because it seems to be an elusive thing, not just on this team, but around the league. A solid CB2. But right now, no. I'm digging the personality. I'd keep him.
Yeah, no. And it's not so much about the CB2. It's about the vibes, guys. This is a total vibes play. And I'm taking Carson Steel vibes over a solid CB2 because a solid CB2 isn't giving you the wavy locks. He isn't hyping up the crowd. He isn't hyping up the entire team. He isn't doing any of that. And he's not giving the dude a stiff arm and knocking him into the turf.
And I think he scored. I'm just saying.
Vibes. Oh, I don't think you stepped out of bounds.
Gary, is RB Prince going to get cut? I don't think so, though, Dan. Even if they keep CH, I don't think they cut Prince unless they have another option.
It depends on if they can work out a trade and they get a veteran-ish running back, that would negate the need for Prince. But even if you do keep Clyde, I think you still have 4. Personally, I'd put any of the other 2 running backs that are out there over Prince, myself, Bailey included, because I think he ran better. But I don't know. I don't see a point in keeping Prince on the roster outside of just needing a body.
Fair enough. I can't argue. Fun, Darius. Nice to see you, buddy, and congrats on your channel. I just want to know when Dan is suiting up so we can put opposing teams in harm's way. Dun dun dun! I got to get that sound effect button,
dude. That ship sailed a long time ago. A long time ago. Like I made the decision to stop playing football and to stop taking it seriously when I was in high school because I was joining the military. Like if I would have taken it seriously, things could have been a lot different, but I did not take it very seriously. And I know way more now about football than the minuscule amount that I thought that I knew when I was in high school. So I appreciate that. Maybe I can give Andy Reid one play because I am 6'5", 260 pounds. So I can do something, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm ready for. Hell, I'll help you. I'll bring the cane and everything. Thundarius, congrats, by the way, dude. Okay, let's see. One first half snap. Is my guy Nico gone? I don't think he's gone as in out of Kansas City, but he's definitely not on the 53. He got passed by Ross for sure, and the other guys with experience are ahead of him. I still feel like he has some zip to his game. I still feel like he has a decent feel for the game. I'm not sure what the problem was, but about midway through camp, he stopped progressing in my eyes. What did you think?
That does seem to happen for quite a few of these guys that are practice squad players. It just happens. We're all going to fall in love with some of these players. Cornell Powell, Nico Remigio, Generic Prince, when they start doing stuff in practice. Montreal Washington showing out again on an underthrown deep ball from Ian Book again. Yes. Unfortunately, he's not going to be on the roster, but you can still probably see him in camp next year. There's probably a good chance that you're going to see him again.
I mean, let's be real. He had no season last year. So other than a few, what did he get? 1 or 2 preseason games? Other than that, this is his rookie season still. So I'm not worried about it. I still think he has progression in him. And I still like the Wilson comparison. So I like the concept of the fit in the offense. So we will see. And KL, thanks for the support, buddy. You guys, the pressers are going on. Andy says that Wan Morris has retweaked his same knee. That's kind of an issue. He said he's going to be okay. We're going to give him some time to rest. I don't know that. I don't know what that means. I'm sure they don't want to have to put him on the pup. I'm sure they'll put him on the roster and then make a decision. He can go straight to IR with a designation to return on the day one without having to be on the roster and take one of those spots. So maybe we'll see. It was terrible. You saw Jacobs go down tonight. You saw Jalen Watson go down tonight. Luckily, those guys got back up. Yeah, but I mean, it's still a little heart pounding because that's the last thing you want in this game. Oh, Jonathan. Isaiah Pacheco and Carson Steel, the Thunder Twins. I can get behind that. I like it. I'm liking Thor in there somewhere. I'm gonna have to put something together, but and with the pressures going on, folks, that means they're gonna wrap here pretty quickly. Andy's really short on the third preseason game, so we're gonna run through the rest of your questions, and then be with us. I'll have something for you probably Sunday night. Monday will be the big Q&A as we get ready for the cut downs. That's what's coming. And we have some cool stuff coming for you for some new opportunities. Thanks for supporting BetUS and Autograph, our newest sponsors. We appreciate you guys. Listen to them supporting the folks that support us. Dad said, could they keep Nick if they keep Trey? Which one would be make more sense to tag? I believe right now the average of the 5 top linebackers is lower than the top 5 guards. Am I wrong, Dan?
I believe you're correct.
So that means it's cheaper to tag Nick. Yeah, that's what I thought. So you
Plus,
tag
Nick, we have to
sign him.
You have to keep in mind the JOK contract, guys. JOK got a lot of money. That's going to be. I'm okay paying him. By the way, I think he's not just really good now. He's got a lot of upside, but that's going to be the contract that Nick Bolton brings to the Chiefs at the end of the season if he stays healthy. But again, that can be a question. He's going to bring that to them and say, "Hey, he got this. We've won 2-3 Super Bowls back to back now. Hey, pay me my money."
Yeah, we will see what happens. There is still a way, and don't forget, Justin Reed's going to need a contract too. There's a lot out there, and despite him not being available in the preseason, they want him back. I guarantee you that.
Maybe. Hear me out.
You don't think so?
Because it's not that they don't want him back because he's a fantastic football player. It's that they might have drafted his replacement because Jaden Hicks is going to be a star and I think can be what Justin Reed is for this defense. And it's the monetary stuff. If he wants more money than he's making now and they've drafted Jaden Hicks and they're like, "No, we just drafted this guy. We want you back, but we're not going to pay you that much money." If they can come to a deal, sure, that'd be fantastic because I think he would do well to learn under Justin Reed. But I'm also looking at what he's doing, learning on the fly. You don't see that happen as quickly as what Jaden Hicks is doing right now. So I'm very excited about that. If you guys don't know, I just covered Jaden Hicks. We talked about how he's going to be a star on the show last night at my film review. You guys can go check that out. It was just yesterday.
And I think Louis Riddick watched it because he was all up in your stuff tonight about he's going to be an effing star. Well, he pretty much already is. But I will say this. I think Spags wants both of them, all 3 of them, because you got to have somebody that can play center field. I think that's Cook's role at this point.
Yeah.
But the domino for me is that they want somebody to be a leader. I'm not sure if Hicks can step into that role after 1 year. So we'll see. It also depends. We haven't seen him on the field yet. He says he's ready to go,
I know.
But I need to see it. So we'll find out. Mark, they should be available tomorrow. If they're not, then the RGR star will have something, I'm sure, very, very soon. So be prepared. And I like this one. Brandon said Steel should start a bowling ball brand. Yeah, right now. Absolutely right. 4-2 rolls is what I would call that. I'm just going to tell you. I'll give you that one for free, Carson. What's your guys' Chiefs points per game prediction this season? Ooh, that's good. I'm at 26.
Yeah, I'm going to go bold. We're going to go 28.5.
Ooh. He said all gas.
Flaming.
4 tutties a game, he says. I like it. Okay. Who's the 4th LB? It sucked that Curtis Jacobs got hurt. He did come back, though, Caroline, so I think he's going to be all right. It's clearly Jack Cochran. I think Cam played himself once again into the 5th spot. Because he was definitely better than Cole Christensen by a long shot. And Jacobs will be on the practice squad and will come and learn. And I do like his upside. You see anything different there?
No, I think that's exactly how it's going to work out. And that's really how it should work out, the experience factor. And I personally think that Cam Jones played a little bit better tonight than he did on Saturday. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, but still not as good as week 1, right?
Not as,
or am I being too harsh on
him? And none of it has looked as good as it did in week 17 last year. Not even a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I wish I had. Caroline, thank you. Did Carson Steel make RB2 after the Chiefs? Yes, we think so, Gary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I buried you in the list before. I would have put you up with all the same questions there before. Apologies, my friend. Gary is one of our mods, folks. Give him a hand in the chat, and I don't mean like a hand, but like a hand.
You should give him a hand.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here on the last couple. Why is the discussion about Ross versus Powell and not Sky versus Powell? That's because the Chiefs have told you in every way, shape, or form they can is that Sky is on this roster. He is number 5. It ain't even a question anymore. In fact, Andy said yesterday, hey, these 5 guys aren't going to play, and Sky was one of them. He did come in for what, 6 snaps?
Yeah, I think he played all of it was just returns.
Yeah. So they have made their decision. They're going to stick through with their draft pack and hope that he can come along, and maybe something's about to click. Justin Watson's in front of him after the big 3. That I think that's all very clear to me. You?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I feel that it's Hardman after him and then Ross. Dan, you feel the opposite, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And yes, KL, one way or the other, let's hope that Justin Watson can stay healthy. I think it's good for everybody involved. All right, DJ, we're going to wrap with you, my friend, unless there's any other super chats in there I have not seen. And I got to get over to post pressers. I'll be unlocked on Chiefs here in a bit. Shout out to RGR. You guys are the best. Thanks, buddy. What happens to the receivers if they are cut? Ross, Tony, Hardman. Hardman's a vested vet. He doesn't have to go anywhere, and he's not subject to waivers. Tony is, and I believe Ross is. Correct?
I think so. Yeah, they're both on their first contracts still.
Yeah. Yeah. So both of them would be subject to waivers. Whoever they are not keeping, which I think is Tony's the guy they don't want to keep, I think they're going to try to trade. Luckily, there's some team out there that's willing to do it. Maybe it's New York. I don't know. The other New York Giants probably learned their lesson, although with the way that they run their front office, I'm not so sure. So.
It might be the Washington Commanders who just traded away their third best receiver or second best receiver today, which we on Monday said didn't think was going to happen. Times change real fast, and Washington might be looking for yak receiver.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, Luke McCaffrey is not it. Luke McCaffrey is not it.
I don't think so either.
No.
One Jaden Hicks away from ending your season. That's what I say. FLDB, I saw you in here. So another one of our mods. Appreciate you, buddy. I got to answer your question. Do you think the punter is going to be the best in the NFL in terms of like net yardage? You can go to BetUS and I'll find you the line to bet if you want to get in on it, because I would take that money.
Yeah, that's a really good bet to make because he's already doing it right now. The hang time is unreal. It's unreal. And I wrote it down in my notes. Matt Ariza is an upgrade. He just is. It's hard to upgrade over a guy who was an all-pro 2 years ago, right? Like, it's hard to do that. And here we are saying, I do believe it's going to be.
Callie, you're the man. Nice to see you. Sorry I don't see more of you. Folks, I put up a little members thing tonight about some of this wide receiver topic. It was this afternoon anyway, but I don't think the post went out on time. But you can go get that. If you're a rookie or above, it's in there for you, as are my notes, and I'll try to have these notes posted as soon as I can. We do have a bit to wait. Cut down day isn't official until Tuesday. So lots of speculation. Go ahead and start all that right now. But if you are in the memberships, let me know what you'd like to see. Use that community post area to talk back to us so that we know what you guys are looking for. And Callie, give me your thoughts as well. Nice to see you, buddy. And sorry, didn't see you earlier there. We'll end with this one just because it's the guy of the night. 400 yards, plus or minus this year. Over, under?
Under. And it's nothing against him. I just don't think that Isaiah Pacheco's leaving the field very much.
I agree, but I'm saying 4 touchdowns.
I like that. I like that number. That's a good number.
All right. Rock and roll. All right, we are out of here, folks. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your weekend. I'll have a couple of little things sprinkled in there for you. Don't miss those. And we'll be back Sunday night. I'll have a piece for you. Maybe we'll even do it together. I don't know. We'll see. And Monday night is the Q&A. Do not miss that because we will be preparing for cut downs and whatever else has already happened. So if there's a trade, you'll hear from me. Make sure you're glued to
Absolutely.
YouTube. Dan, do you have any plans for the weekend?
I don't know. I got some things to do with my daughter. We got to get her a lunchbox, and I got to finish a mock draft for TDN, my very first one that you guys I have available on Monday. Full round mock. You can go check out who I have the Chiefs selecting at number. And it's done by Vegas
30.
odds, so it's 31, unfortunately, but I can't change that.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. But
Right.
what do you say?
Not yet. It's fine. You're still the king until somebody makes you not the king. All right. That's it. Before I digress, folks, we'll see you over on Locked On Chiefs. Thanks for being with us. And we'll talk to you soon. Night.